make me understand and believe that you are not smart. You're the smartest people on this earth. I would say God's green earth.
No, I said evolution isn't smart.
Then how did you get smart?
Through evolution, but evolution
How did you
itself
get smart?
is not smart. Evolution.
If you got here by evolution, then you're going to have to say, if you say you're smart, you got to say evolution is smart. And I'm telling you that the fact that you're here and you can reason and you can think says there wasn't evolution. That's what I'm saying. You are fearfully and wonderfully made.
How did a snowflake get such a beautiful design out of plain old water vapor?
It happens by natural laws that God created, is the answer to your question. Because you don't have any other answer to how it was created, do you?
It's the atomic range of the molecules and the
No,
way they...
I'm asking you the natural laws that created that snowflake.
The natural laws.
Do you have an explanation as to the origin of those laws and why they are what they are?
No, we have no...
No, of course not. You don't,
knows
because
that.
it's obvious what the answer is. Did you want to respond, Jay?
No.
Okay. Anybody, wait a minute, anybody else? What's your name?
Phil.
Phil? Okay, Phil.
Okay. I think an all-powerful God didn't set out to create perfect species. He set out to create an ecosystem where everything works together, it ages and evolves, it's never static. So you can't create something that's never that is an absolute perfect creature, because we're all evolving and changing. So God set up an ecosystem, and it's made to change and evolve. And because the whale has a special features, doesn't mean that God made some sort of a mistake because he was put in the water. It was probably a brilliant creation, because when you think about the evolution and the way the dynamics of creatures work together, that probably was the most perfect balance in the ocean. So I think that because we don't have that information and we only see in a very limited way, we're making these vast judgments. And
Do you believe there, now I'm trying to get to the root, do you believe there is a God or not?
me, yeah.
Okay, and you believe that he created things through evolution?
I don't know if I necessarily do believe that, but evolution, but I do believe that he didn't set out to create perfection in the world. And why does our eye have this feature, and why do we age, and like would you want God to just make you a perfect person so that nothing can go wrong with you? And why did God set it up this way? I'm uncomfortable. You're meant to be uncomfortable. We live in this world, and God didn't set things up just for your satisfaction.
I have to agree with you. That's an excellent point. Who else other than Jay? My wife over here, who is the most wise person I have ever met, would like to say.
If you if you understand the creation story, God started out with everything perfect. Adam and Eve were perfect. The earth was perfect. Everything was perfect until sin. And that's what caused the imperfection, and that's what caused where we are today.
Right.
Yeah.
We agree.
That would be theology, Orthodox theology, absolutely. Go ahead, Harry.
Well, I heard what you just said, but I think a creator God would create a universe that is perfect. And to say anything other than that is not my idea of what a God does. That's point number one. Point number two, I still would like you to explain to me how a chimpanzee and a human share 98% of their genetic material, and still tell me that there's no common ancestor.
You're reading old information, Harry.
What is it?
It's in the 80s, not 98%. Yes, you hear it. You read it all the time. 98% of an ape is the same as human. It's in the 80s. Check the newest studies on DNA.
Well, that changes everything.
Well, hey, it goes back to the design criteria. While apes and humans have DNA that are similar because they do similar things. That's not proof of evolution.
Even
Well,
at
even if you-
50%, that's about a billion differences.
They all have legs and arms and digits and a heart and a respiratory system and hair on their body, and they have all the same things humans have. Why wouldn't their DNA be the same or close?
Well, I'll check your numbers, but
I think you better check new genetic, because what they've done is they take a lot of DNA and they classify it as junk. You know, from evolutionary things that happened. You just
Okay.
had stuff that you didn't need as junk DNA. They're finding out that junk DNA has purpose. It does things. So therefore, when you start looking at it under that microscope, you find out that there's a lot more difference between apes and humans than 98%.
junk DNA.
Well, that's what people call it, junk DNA.
So
Left over from evolutionary stuff you don't need, kind of like
why would a
appendix.
creator create things you don't need?
Okay.
You don't know the mind of God, do you?
Well, I don't know, I do
Okay.
not.
Let me.
I only know about God what He's revealed to me, and that's not everything, I'm sure. Go ahead.
And that leads into my question that I've asked you once before, but I don't remember how you answered it. If an intelligent creator created all of these species, why are 99% of them extinct today?
Because of the fallen world, it's hard to live in this world. If something happens randomly, like a hurricane or a asteroid hit, they die out because they can't survive because they don't have a food source. I mean, you're asking questions. Now, let me ask you a question. Based on that whole idea, Harry, would you like to be someone who has absolutely no choice in anything that you do or say or think?
No.
Okay, you like to be someone who can make choices.
Right.
Okay. If God created you perfect, and if he did, okay, then you wouldn't have any choices. Because God would make all your choices for you.
You telling me I'm perfect?
I'm telling you that you're not perfect. I'm telling you that God created you so you could choose one way or the other, or 1 out of 10 ways. And you have consequences of those decisions.
Yeah.
And you're not perfect, you make bad decisions, so do I. Well, just one second.
Okay, I want to respond.
All right, you next.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, you're asking for a God, you're building this God that says He's perfect, and why would He make all these faulty stuff? And why would He have some people believe in Him and some people not believe in Him? And I ask you, do you want somebody else to make all your decisions for you, like God?
That's not the answer.
The answer is yes, it is the answer, because you're building a false God. God did it because He wanted to. God is sovereign. You can't figure Him out. Harry, to answer my question, you want to be able to think for yourself?
I want to be able to think for myself, but that's irrelevant.
You want to be able to choose between good and evil?
Okay, okay. If you want to talk about evil, then
I'm just asking if you want to be able to choose between the two.
I want to be able to choose between.
Okay, then you're not asking for a God that's perfect, that makes you perfect.
But
If
isn't
you're
God
perfect,
perfect?
you'd always choose good.
Are you telling me God isn't perfect?
God is perfect, yes. And He allows you to choose for yourself.
But His idea of good and evil is different from mine.
I know, because He's the source of it and you don't know where He
When
gets
I,
it.
when I see all this natural evil in the world that wasn't created by humans but had to be created by the Creator, that causes misery, disease,
Yeah, but
everything else.
We've had this discussion many times. Let this lady chill.
I just want to respond to what you were saying about why didn't God create a perfect world. It's like when I had my 3 children, and when they were born, I looked at them and I said, I don't want anything to happen to these kids. I want to protect them. I don't want any evil to touch their hearts, okay? Well, what a great disservice I would have done if I had tried to carry that out. They would have been brought up not being able to cope, handle the adversity in life, learn and grow, and be resilient and all those things. So our purpose in life isn't to have perfection. It's to be able to deal with the adversities of life and to get up again and move along the journey that we're on. So there's good reason why there isn't perfection in the world.
Okay, well, one